One day, you're going to exit your practice. Now, exiting the way you want does not happen on its own. It takes preparation and a bunch of other things. And my guest today is a financial planner for private practice owners who helps his clients exit their practices how they want to. And he's going to share some of his thinking with us. I'm Carl White, principal at Mark Advisory Group, which is a healthcare marketing agency, and I'm also the host of Practice Care. The mission for both is the same, and that's to help private practice owners stay private. It's usually what they want anyway, but care is better when it's the providers of care who own the practice as opposed to anybody else, because when they own the practice, we know that patient care is always going to stay top of mind. All decisions that have to get made, whether business, clinical, whatever it may be, when it's made by those who have to turn around and take care of patients, we know they're going to keep thinking about that. My guest today is Eric Miller. Eric is a seasoned financial planning professional with over 20 years of experience dedicated to empowering private practice owners and associates. As co-owner and chief financial advisor of Econologics Financial Advisors, which is a registered investment advisor, Eric specializes in strategic financial planning, including investments, retirement, asset protection, tax strategies, debt elimination, and business transition planning. A registered financial consultant and a graduate of Capital University, Eric is a prolific author and speaker and has published countless articles, videos, and podcasts, and is the best-selling author of How to Become a Financial Beast. He has presented at hundreds of events nationwide and weekly hosts the Financial Beast podcast, which I've been on. Thank you, Eric. Thanks for coming back. You've actually been a guest before. It was been a couple of years, I think.
It was, yes. So I'm just
Yes.
happy to be back, and thank you for doing our podcast
Yeah.
a few weeks ago. That was
Yeah.
fun.
It's a nice little back and forth thing. Um, So tell us more about yourself. Anybody who's listened to, even a couple of episodes know that's where we start. That was a pretty quick bio, but tell us more about you, Econologics. I'm curious how the name, it's not like we
Yes.
were talking about this, like, the standard is Miller Financial Advisors or, boring last name financial advisors. Econologics, different. I like that. It's cool.
Yeah, and just a quick, I guess history on the name.
Hmm.
Basically, it breaks down like this. If you take the word economy, that means the root meaning of that word means management of a household.
Hmm.
Logi means study of, and then the last part, ecos, means skills and practices. So the word simply means the study of the skills and practices of the management of a household, because that really at well, all we're trying to do is make sure that if you're a practice owner, you have a practice
Hmm.
and you want that to be profitable, you want it to be transferable, sustainable, but it has to be able to serve your household, because that's what we're trying to do, is make your household financially, well.
Hmm.
And so that's the root meaning of the word.
Hmm.
We got into this back in 2008. It was a great year to
Oh my God, 2008.
ask people for money in 2008. And we just, we knew we wanted to specialize in working with owners. We had a healthcare background. A lot of people in our office had a healthcare background, so we're like,
Hmm.
these are the people that we want to help. They help patients. We want to help them with their finances, because by and large, most people in healthcare ownership are not really awesome with money.
Hmm.
So just kind of more from there, and that's where we specialize in, and we've been doing it ever since, and it's a lot of fun.
And are you guys like your pure play healthcare, or you serve some other industries as well? I know you
Very
have a lot of
small.
healthcare. I mean,
Yeah, it's almost 90, I would say 98% healthcare
wow.
owners. I mean, I had some construction people, some Amazon people that have crossed paths and such, but for the most part, it's
Once a year
healthcare
you get a
focused.
call, but that's otherwise it's
Exactly. Yeah.
doctors and
Someone from
providers
down
and such.
down the road will come in and like, yeah, I saw
Cool
your
name. What
son.
do
I'm
you
like,
do? Okay, yeah,
yeah,
right.
exactly.
Yeah, that's funny. So, all right, I want to jump right in.
Yeah.
Exiting the practice. What are the core ingredients in let's say, a good exit?
Yeah. So I think it starts always with two things. Number one, you have, and like when you're considering an exit,
Hmm.
is really two things. Number one, your emotional readiness.
Mm.
And what I mean by that is, you're talking to, when you own a practice, and I think everybody knows this. I mean, you're responsible for so many things:
Hmm.
hiring, firing, policies, procedures, HR,
Compliance. Yeah.
compliance,
Yeah.
the building, the rent, the leases, blah, blah, blah. Oh, by the way, I want to see patients too, and I got to be responsible for them.
Hmm.
And you're going 180 mile an hour.
Hmm.
So when you decide to exit, you really have to make sure that the game, there's no part of the game don't want to do any that you just don't want to do anymore. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm done with this.
Mm-hmm.
I've done what I've done. I've built what I've built. Happy with it. I don't really feel like taking it to any other level right now. It's probably a good time at that point in time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're ready. You're emotionally ready. Um, and then of course there's the financial readiness, which
Mm-hmm.
is, hey, I make, when I own a practice, I get the profits of the practice. I pay myself a salary. I probably run some expenses through that practice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm giving all that up
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want it anymore.
Yeah.
So you really have to make sure that you have solidified your household finances. You've built other income streams. You have significant assets. And then the sale proceeds are going to kind of supplement everything else that you've already built.
Yeah.
And that just takes some planning and working out and working with an advisor and just knowing the numbers.
Yeah.
And I think if those two things check mark, then you're ready to exit.
Okay.
Okay, you don't have
Okay.
to, but I think you're
Yeah.
going to have a better chance of having success post
Yeah.
sale
Yeah.
with that.
So there's a couple of things on my mind. Let me ask them both and then we can tackle them. So the first one is on the emotional. The way I say it to myself is, and tell me if this is accurately capturing it is, so now you've sold and now it's some random Tuesday at 10 in the morning. What are you doing with yourself?
Yeah, yeah.
That's the emotional side. And the financial side, I always think of when I don't talk to a lot of practice owners about, their sale one day, but when I hear it talked about, it sounds like I'm just going to sell it and make a lot of money. And all I hear is timing the market, which never works well.
No,
It just seems like you've got to, they both take thinking and planning, like more than just sitting, on a spare 15 minutes when it happens to be slow that day at work. You go, what am I going to do with myself? Like it takes, did I capture it right?
I think so. I take the second part of that because we'll get people that like say, well, I want to sell in a different type of environment right now, or I want to wait until like I want to wait until interest rates are better, or I want to wait until, whatever. And I'm like, that you're looking at the external environment. You shouldn't be looking that. If
Mm-hmm.
you have a good business,
Mm-hmm.
if it cash flows, if it's not dependent upon just you,
Mm-hmm.
100%. If you have good people there, if you are in a good area and you're growing, most important, you're growing,
Mm-hmm.
all right, then I don't care what the external environment is. You're going to get a good deal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now you get to get the same multiples that you would maybe 5 years ago, maybe not, but you're still going to get a very good price for your
Do you
practice.
find, like, how often do you find practice owners saying to you, I deserve a number and I'm waiting for it. And it's bad if I don't get it, or you know what I mean?
I mean, so I will definitely, the amount of practice owners that tend to overestimate how much their practice is worth.
Whether they're over or under, like I
Yeah.
want X
Yeah.
and I'm getting screwed if I don't get it because my thing's worth that much.
Yeah.
Do you get
It,
that?
yeah. And when I'll just tell them, look, it's worth what someone else is willing to pay for it.
Yeah.
And this is what the market is. And you can say, well, I think it's worth $5 million. But if you're,
You need
if
someone else to agree with you.
someone else needs to agree with you to pay that, right? And
Yeah.
most importantly, the practice profits have to sustain the debt payment that someone's going to have to use to acquire
Hmm.
your practice. That's
Hmm.
all the bank cares about, right? Can the profits service the debt along
Hmm.
with whatever other expenses there are?
Hmm.
So it does kind of come down to some cold-blooded math that people don't like to accept sometimes.
Hmm.
And it's just like, this is what it is,
Hmm.
and you have to be willing to accept that. So
Hmm.
again, this is another reason why, as a practice owner, you really need to know what your financials are. You need to know your industry. You need to
Hmm.
know, like, hey, what would a buyer look for in a practice that would want to give me my
Yeah.
number, right?
Yeah.
Like, what
Yeah.
does that need to look like so that I get the number that I want.
Yeah.
I even tend to find most people don't even know what their number is.
Is that right?
Yeah, I think a
Okay.
lot of people are just like, it's very rare. I'll ask them, do you know what your number is? They're like, not
Do you
really.
mean like
I'm
the
like,
number I need to live the life I want to live
yeah,
after this?
yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Yeah. You'd
Hmm.
be surprised like how many people don't know the answer to that question, which
You
is,
know what's funny is just among, like, informal conversations, I hear people say these numbers. I want this when I retire, and I just say to myself, I wonder why you want that. I
yeah,
don't know. I mean, uh, sounds
sounds
like
good.
more than you need, although what do I know about their own
Yeah.
economy, their own personal household. Um, I just want to be able to say we've got more than we think we need.
Yes.
And that just
And
seems very, very comforting.
that is that's why the number's different for everybody. I mean,
Yeah.
you have some people that $100 million would be like, I can't even fathom living on that. And
Hmm.
of course, everyone else is like, well, that's plenty for me.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'll
you
take 10
know,
off your hands and
exactly.
you
Yeah,
can
I
keep the
can 10's
rest.
fine with 10
Yeah,
would be fine,
right.
from
That could
that
help.
end.
Yeah.
But it is different for everybody. I think the key is like what gives you a sense of financial peace,
Hmm.
how much income, and it really just
Well,
comes
there it
down
is,
to this.
financial peace. Like I
Yeah.
think it took me a long time. I won't say what it is, but I wonder, I didn't even grasp it. It was just this quest for more because, you've got a certain amount of time to earn it. And gosh, you hope you get enough, whatever that enough is. But the
Yep.
peace part is just like, I wonder what that is. And anyway, yeah.
I think there is a point, and I've seen it with some of our clients where you build a strategy, you have, income sources, and I
Hmm.
have this much coming in every month, and this is how much I'm spending. And that gives me a sense of financial peace that
Hmm.
I'm only spending this, I still have this coming in, I have buffers, worst case scenario, things can happen. These are all
Yeah.
it's all part of planning,
Hmm.
and so it's different for everybody, but I think that's
Yeah.
essentially, what we're trying to do as financial
Right.
advisors to help people
Right.
achieve that.
So that was they have a number, and most of them don't know a number. That was the first one I asked. The second one is, all right, now it's a Tuesday at 10 in the morning, and
Yeah.
you look around, now you've sold, and what am I doing with myself today? And I'm not sure. So you're talking about the emotional readiness, which
Yeah.
probably sounds like the bigger of the two deals, emotional
Yeah.
versus financial. I mean,
So, I mean, I have stories of this too, from
hmm.
people that have sold. And, I was just talking to one the other day, and it was, it's a little, I'm gonna call it heartbreaking, because heartbreaking is like, real human suffering and such, and
Yeah.
and
Can
not
rich people
like,
be
yeah,
heartbreaking? And
exactly,
yeah.
exactly. So I want to keep it in context,
Yeah.
or perspective, so to
Yeah.
speak. But you're talking to someone that has probably a $15 million net worth, has, five to 600,000 coming in every month, doesn't really have family or kids or anything like that,
Hmm.
and more than enough money to do whatever it is that he wants to do.
Hmm.
Okay. And financially totally fine, but just the look of like, I don't know what I want to do now. My whole
Hmm.
identity was this practice, and I don't have another identity besides that.
Hmm.
And there's only so many fishing holes you can hit, there's only so many golf courses you can play.
Hmm.
You have to make sure that you replace your activity as an owner with something that's purposeful, right?
Hmm.
Whether it's mentoring, other
Yeah.
people,
Hmm.
finding a group where you can kind of add, like, this is what I learned over my years, and just
Hmm.
give back, and just, have that, whatever it is, just
Hmm.
find something that's purposeful for you,
Hmm.
and go do that. Otherwise, there's only so many. I mean, everyone says I'm going to be done. I'm going to have hobbies. I'm going to travel. I'm like, okay, but I'm telling you, in a year or two, you're going to be bored stiff,
Hmm.
and then you're going to create games, and some of those games aren't necessarily good.
Hmm.
People start drinking a little bit too much
Hmm.
and just getting into bad stuff.
Hmm.
So anyway,
Yeah.
now, there are definitely stories of that. I have more stories, though, of people that maybe stay connected to the practice, stay
Hmm.
on a little bit longer,
Hmm.
and have great lives.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
it really comes down to what's a purpose that you have.
Yeah. Take some
Yeah.
time to figure out the purpose part.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Um, when should practice owners start that? So preparation, it was sort of you snuck it
Yeah.
in there, but it's about preparation. When should that start, do you think, for a good, the exit you want, whatever that looks like?
Well, in the exit communities, you're going to hear people say the moment that you start your practice, you should be thinking about the exit. And there is some intelligent thought behind that process of like, the moment that you start an investment. I hear from all these, gurus
Mhm.
you got to know what your exit strategy is before you get into an investment. Okay, great. Maybe so. It's just
If
not
you're buying and
practical.
selling a stock, I get it. If it's up
Yeah.
10, down 15, fine, but that takes about 3 seconds to come up with that one. I mean, that's
Yeah.
a yeah,
It's just
very
not
simple
practical.
liquid thing. It doesn't apply.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just really not that practical. If you start a practice, you're like, you have all those grand ideas of creation, not
Hmm.
exiting. Okay.
Hmm.
That being said, I think if once you start getting into the point where you have a mature practice, then, part of your growth strategy is your exit strategy.
Hmm.
Because I now want to start growing this thing where it's just not 100% dependent upon myself.
That's the
And
point.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I think that's when, it goes back to the same, I don't know whether it's an analogy or a metaphor. I'm not really good with those things. There's only so many bricks a bricklayer can lay in a day,
Hmm.
right? And there's only so many patients that one healthcare owner can see in a day.
Hmm.
And if you want to get to a point where you're not trapped in the practice, obviously you have to bring on associates and
Yeah.
other people, put
Yeah.
systems in place, all these things to make it a business.
And when you
And
do that, most of the practice's value is tied up in you. And if you sell and retire, the practice just sold
yeah,
and the value, much of it just sold and retired. So
oh yeah,
I want to sell this thing when it's wrapped up mostly in the owner, that's a tough sale.
the valuations go up exponentially once you bring on other people to do the
Hmm.
work.
Hmm.
Exponentially, the values go up.
Hmm.
So I think that's probably like once you get to a point where you're starting to bring on other people, I think that's when you start thinking about like, what is my exit strategy? And you
Hmm.
don't have to have, and you're building it so that it can transition, easily to somebody else, whether you sell to a big corporate group, whether you sell to an associate, whether you sell to a competitor. Those are
Hmm.
all things that you can, really 5 years or, or less, you have time to be able to prepare for that. But I would start thinking those things.
Hmm.
And then really all the other things I think are like that we talk about, like having good tenured staff, having all your financials in order. I mean, you should
Good
be doing these things,
systems.
all the systems. You should be doing these things anyway,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. In fact,
Um,
I was going to say, I heard this, what I thought was just excellent advice. And it was make your practice investment grade. That was the term that was used.
yeah,
Now, why? Put aside the fact that buyers like to buy things that look and feel like investment grade. But if it's investment grade, um, it means it runs really well. Like a lot of
yes.
things are checked. And why wouldn't you, as the owner, want to benefit from something that runs really well now?
And you would get the financial benefits of that now as
Now,
well,
and then when you sell it even more, it's like icing
even
on the
more.
cake. Yeah. So the
So
things that Eric's talking about, the systems, the people, the not totally reliant on you, the owner or the partners, et cetera, et cetera, these speak to an investment grade, something that's really just runs really well. Forget the
yeah,
term investment grade. People, other buyers want to buy things that run really well once they buy it.
yes, buyers
What?
are very, very lazy. They
Yeah.
don't want to they don't want to get into something where they have to do a lot of work
Yeah.
to
And
fix
if you
it.
take two practices, let's take two, I don't know, OBGYN practices, one's an operational mess and the other is just operationally awesome, the investment grade one. The owners are probably much happier in
Yes.
the investment grade one than they
For
are in the
sure.
mess. So why wouldn't you want to have a happy day,
Yeah,
So
exactly.
a really productive, just efficient, enjoyable day because the thing runs well, you know?
Yeah, it is kind of funny to watch. You can have the same $2 million revenue businesses and they're valued very, very differently because of
Hmm.
just those things that you said. One's operates in chaos, the other one operates on sanity. And the
Yeah,
valuations are
of course
completely
they are.
different,
And
you
I'll bet
know.
you the owners, you compare just the general happiness of the owners, and it's probably night and day different.
It is
And
for
probably
sure.
everybody who works there,
It 100%.
you know?
Yep.
Yeah. 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 Is there like I ask this question every once in a while, like a mindset difference between those who prepare, those who think this way, and those who do not? And what do you see? And the reason I ask is because I'm hoping listeners yeah, look at yourself in the mirror. Like you want to, you're building this thing, or you hope you are, and you want to sell it one day. Just do you fit the mindset? And if you don't think you do, listen to what you're about to hear Eric
Yeah.
say. I don't know what you're going to say, but maybe it'll help.
I mean, look, I mean, you'll have some owners that are just complete control. I hate to use the word control freaks, but they are, right?
Hmm.
They can't let go. They
Hmm.
can't let go. That's a pretty bad mindset. Like
Mm.
they can't let go of anything.
Mm.
And those people tend, I see, to continue to be trapped in the cycle of, you know, never ever getting out. And then, I think there's the other ones that that have a mindset of like, I don't, I want to spend more time on my owner role than I do on my practitioner role.
Hmm.
Like I really want to spend more time like on that. How do I build a better business? And again, it just goes back to like, are you treating your practice like a job or an investment? And the
Hmm.
people that have the mindset, I want to treat it like an investment, just like you said, are going to have more success. And the people that
Hmm.
just want to treat it like a job and just say, you know what, screw everything else. I'll do all the work. And then eventually I'll just kind of cut down my hours and it'll be, worthless at that point in time. Not worthless, but you won't get near the
Yeah.
satisfaction or sale proceeds.
Yeah. I mean, do you
So,
have clients where like, look, I know this thing's not going to be worth much, but this is the life I want. It's
oh
a
yeah,
job, air quotes, but I don't have a boss. I
yeah,
like it. The profits send to you, Eric, and you guys
yeah.
make it great in investments. And just one day I'll wind it down, or I don't know what, but I'm totally cool with that. Do you have that profile too?
Oh, totally. I have, a handful of people that are just like that, that just will never, they just, for whatever reason. And
Hmm.
it's just like, Eric, I'm fine doing it this way. I'll make a lot of money. I'll take, 30 or 40% of it, give it to you guys,
Hmm.
fund my retirements and they'll be fine.
Hmm.
I mean, they can just let the practice shut down at that point in time or
Hmm.
sell it for, 50 cents on the dollar.
Or whatever.
And
Yeah.
it's a strategy and I'm
Hmm.
okay with it. I mean, it's not something that I personally would want to do,
Hmm.
nor would I want to teach that, but to each his own. And
But at least they've thought it through.
they did make a decision. I'll give them
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
They did say this is what I want to do. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
and let's do it. At least they're not, you know, not growing a practice, not saving any money for retirement and expecting their practice is going to be sold
This is
and
the timing of the market thing. I'm
they're
like, dude, you
yeah, they're going to
just,
retire on the proceeds. And I'm like, yeah, it's a bad strategy right there.
yeah, because it's
That's a
hope. It's actually not a strategy.
Yeah.
It's hope. Um, Hope is not a strategy. They're different things. I hear that every once in a while, like you just have a job, you don't have a business. And I just roll my eyes. I'm like, I suppose by the strict definition, you're right, but I don't care. Thought it,
Yeah.
as long as you think it through,
Yeah.
who cares? I can tell you one thing about my job compared to the jobs I used to have. Uh,
A lot less
I'm
stress. Yeah.
You know what? Me and my boss, we finish each other's sentences. We always see things eye to eye. It's the same person. So,
Yeah.
but
I mean,
yeah, it's a lot. Yeah,
I
it's
was
just
thought,
as long as they think it through, and there's a plan there. If that's the plan, that's fine.
yeah, funny enough, I was talking to an owner yesterday that was like, and I asked him, hey, do you think you'll have difficulties if you sell your practice and you want to stay on and work for somebody else? Are you going to have difficulties with that?
Hmm.
And he's kind of like one of those alpha dudes, alpha
Hmm.
practice owners. I'm sure you met,
Hmm.
and his answer just floored me. He was like, hell no. He
Hmm.
goes, I am looking forward to the day when someone just tells me what to do. And I don't have any other responsibility besides that right
You know what?
there.
That lasts about 10 days.
It probably
and then
would,
and then
but
it becomes annoying again.
yeah, you're probably right. You're
But it's gonna
probably
be a
right.
great 10 days for that guy.
That's true. Yeah. He'll be fulfilled with that one, but
Exactly. Then he's gonna start questioning it. Um, Anything else about the mindset difference that you see between, those who kind of exit successfully, however they do, and those who do not?
I don't think so much on the mindset. It's just, there's a resiliency that you need. There is a certainty in your decision
Hmm.
that you need. You just can't, be wish-washy and kind of go back and forth on it. Just make a decision on what your strategy is going to be, and then
Hmm.
just roll with it.
Just
And I
roll
think
with it.
that's probably the best
Okay.
kind of mindset that you can have.
Okay. And overall on our topic, preparing to exit, is there anything you think we should have touched on that we didn't get to?
I mean, some people ask, should I need representation? Should I hire a broker or something like that? And I would say, depending on the size of your practice, if you have a bigger practice, I'd
Hmm.
100%, get representation, find
Hmm.
someone in your industry that has done it before. They're usually worth their weight in gold. Um, that's at the actual transition stage.
Hmm.
But just work. I mean, just work out like what you think your target exit's going to be, whether it's 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, and just
Hmm.
start working towards that.
Hmm.
And start doing some things that are going to lead to a successful transition. And I
Hmm.
think that's some of the things that we could touch on.
Yeah, and just find the things that are, how do you do that? I would say find the things that are most painful or inefficient on a day-to-day basis and try to make
Yeah.
them better, and
Yeah,
and
I
you'll
would
see.
say, Yeah,
you
and I
know?
would just say make sure that you constantly have a new flow of new patients coming in the
Yeah.
door, you
And
know?
make sure they stay if they're supposed to stay. Like if
Yep.
you're a primary care practice and there's a lot of churn, you got a problem,
Yes.
you know?
Yeah,
Um,
you need to show, that you're growing and
mhm,
spend money on marketing because
mhm.
that's certainly a key
Amen,
to
my
getting
friend.
new
Amen.
patients.
Yes. Yes. And then, the other wrap up question is, well, actually, I just want to say on the broker, I would say do it, take your time and find a good, but it's like one of the largest transactions, dear listener, you're going to face in your life. It
Yep.
always makes me laugh a little bit when I see like, residential real estate brokers and people complain over the 6% versus 5% commission and they're ripping me off. And I just stare at them and I go, all transactions have costs. If you really want to do this yourself, have you ever the documentation is like an inch and a half thick. You really
Oh,
want to know what's in there? Like you should, because you're going to be signing your name on it. You want to go learn all that yourself? Go ahead to save a point or two. Okay.
uh, you
I
know,
really, I seriously,
so,
I don't get it.
yeah, self-admitted, in my beginning stages of watching sales, I had the opposite approach. I was like, God, these brokers are getting 5%, 6% of these huge sales. I'm like, what exactly are they doing? But
Mhm.
as the more I got into it and the more I saw exactly what they were doing, I was like, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
that's worth every penny.
Yeah.
That's worth every penny,
Yeah.
you
It's a
know.
minefield.
Yes, it is
And
a
so,
minefield. And you're trying to navigate that while you're trying to run your business, forget about it. You need
seriously,
someone to do that for you.
yeah. So you're going to go sell your practice. So that fee's too much. And I just always say to myself, well, what should it cost? And the answer is, I don't know. I never thought about it. I have no idea. Well, then maybe this
Yeah.
is the right price. So
Yeah.
yeah. But where can somebody get started on this? The context is we've caught a listener's attention. He's right. I sound like what he was talking about. Where can just something simple to get off the starting line?
Well, hell, you can buy my book on Amazon, How to Become a Financial Beast. That would be a
Okay.
place. We talk a little bit about exit strategies there.
Mm-hmm.
On our website, we do have some exit checklists as well.
Mm.
So
Okay.
you can check those out.
Mm-hmm.
We have a couple webinars too that I talk about specifically about exiting
Mm-hmm.
on that. It's just
Mm-hmm.
become a very popular topic, and I didn't really think about that too much when we were growing our financial planning company, but you know, it's a natural part of the cycle.
Mm-hmm.
So but those would be a couple places. I'm trying to think if there's a good exit book. There was a guy that wrote a really good exit book. His name was John Leonetti. He wrote a really great exit book as well.
Mm-hmm.
Those are just a couple things you guys could do. And then
Okay.
just look at your industry that you're in and, maybe just start asking some questions if you're part of like a group, like, hey, who's buying practices? How do we find them?
Mm-hmm.
Are there brokers in this industry? Just start
Mm-hmm.
using your network of people in your industry.
Yeah. There's some
That's
good valuation businesses. They'll do a valuation. They're going to
Yeah,
charge you some money for it. But I would say don't let that phase you. Just get a good, honest. You could even, just like we said earlier, look around your practice. Find the thing that seems the most that's important, but just horribly inefficient, even if it's not
yeah,
horribly. Say, how do we make that better?
correct.
And just start, building the muscle mass
Yeah.
around being investment grade today.
Yeah, the appraisal thing's a great idea. I mean, it costs maybe, I don't know, it costs anywhere from $1,000 to 3 or 4,000 bucks to do, but it's totally worth it. Now I
You
have
know?
an idea of what this investment is worth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then I can start from that point to
And
see
I've
how I
seen one or
can
two of them,
increase
and
it.
it's like it's a systems like I'll make it up. There's 8 or 9 systems that a practice needs to be having
Yeah.
well. Here's how you rate. Here's what's good about it. Here's the gap.
Yep.
Here's what we think we could fetch today. Fix these things. Very interesting.
Totally.
And that just seems like 1 to 5 grand. Just
Totally worth it.
prices in the eye of the beholder, but
Yep.
you know, you'll spend that on golf in a summer. So
True.
yeah. Anyway, Eric, thanks for coming back. It's been a couple of years, but thanks for coming. Really important topic.
Yep.
I think we broadened it when we said, make your practice investment grade. We didn't. That wasn't intentional, but you can enjoy the fruits of that labor today. Don't just think about it when you're trying to sell. So thanks for coming back on. I appreciate it.
Stay warm.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. You are in the northern climate today, like we are. It's 12 degrees today as we record. So we've got contact information for you. They're in the
Yep.
show notes for the episode. So anyone that wants to get a hold of Eric, there's another way to do so. A couple points before we wrap up. Please first subscribe to Practice Care. It's one word, easy to find. We're everywhere. New episode every week. We've got over 200 launched. If you're having a question on the business side of private practice, there's a decent chance one of our guests has talked about it and helped you out in that episode. So subscribe, and then you can browse through all of them. And finally, if you're like Eric or us and you serve private practice owners, or you're one yourself, either way, you've got some experience on the business side of private practice that and don't overthink that. You might think something is basic and boring and who wouldn't have gotten this. I promise you, lots and lots of other people haven't gotten that. Come on Practice Care so we can tell the world about it. In every episode, there's a link at the show notes, a couple of clicks. Take you just a minute, tell us what's on your mind, and we'll get you scheduled as soon as possible. Thanks very much, and until next time.